Hey guys, and welcome to the monster pattern search demonstration video. In today's video I will show you the patterns, and in my previous video I was showing you how you set the indicator drawing buffers, how you set the indicator ID and why do you need this. If you skipped these videos, first watch them, they are very important. How you set the MetaTrader, how you installed the software to work properly. And in my second video I was talking about the algorithms, how you set the algorithm, what type of algorithm you have, and what algorithms are available in Pro and what algorithms are available in limited versions like automatic or manual. Okay, and in today's video I will talk about the patterns. Okay, there are two main group of patterns. One of them is called advanced patterns. It looks this way. So we have the Gartley, Bat, Cypher and Butterfly advanced formations that were initially created by Trade Empowered team, and now they are preached and they are taught by Tier 1 trading team. And also I personally added into this group the Pesavento patterns that were created by Larry Pesavento long before the Harmonic patterns appeared. Pesavento 2 and Pesavento 1 are basically the same variation of one and the same pattern, but there are two variations. And I also added a custom pattern. If you go into settings, you will have some default settings for the custom pattern. They are my own. The settings that you have under these custom patterns are the settings from Unified Gartley. It is the pattern that I have created, and if you compare the standard pattern and the Unified Gartley, the Unified Gartley is black, yes. So in this case, with the standard advanced formation we didn't hit the entry, and with Unified Gartley we did hit the entry. It is slightly more precise, at least based on my market research. And as you know that MPS is the one that is the best software for performing that market backtest and market research, you may be sure that these results are very much precise. Okay, and the second group of patterns is harmonic pattern. So to get access to this group, you simply switch that to harmonic. And of course you have this Gartley, Bat, Crab, Butterfly, Alternative Bat, Shark, Alternative Shark and Deep Crab pattern. Okay, you don't have 5-0 pattern, but it is something that you can trade after the shark hits 50%. So after the shark pattern goes to 50%, you can trade it as 5-0 because it is a continuation of a shark pattern or whatever you call it. Okay, so now let's talk about these two groups of patterns. And it will be much better if we start from the Pesavento patterns. So what are those Pesavento patterns? And I will need to draw this. The Pesavento patterns are the patterns that exploit very much the AB equals CD. So you first need to have some movement. So let us say you have a movement. It can be an impulse movement or an anchor movement. And then you have this 1. And you should have the similar movement, which is 2. So these two movements are equal, and they are called ABCD patterns. So the first pattern is the one that has that ABCD completion, the ABCD completion at 786. It is very difficult to have that ABCD completion at 786 sharp. That's why I gave it a range at 786 plus 3% or 786 minus 3%. So it completes somewhere within this zone. And this pattern is called a Pesavento 1. Yes? Okay. And another pattern is the one that has the same ABCD embedded structure, but the ABCD is slightly less. For example, this one, yes? And it completes, the ABCD goes to completion somewhere at 61A. So you see this? This is the difference between Pesavento 1 and Pesavento 2. So basically it is the same ABCD that completes at 618 of that previous leg. So this is what is called the Pesavento patterns. So somewhere within this range, plus minus 3% of 618 and plus minus 3% of 786. So what you are looking at is the lightning pattern, zigzag pattern, ABCD pattern, or whatever you call it, that terminates at this 786. And the ratio here is not very much important, but there are some numbers here. Yes, of course, if the ratio is very deep, like this. Oh, come on. So how can I delete that stuff? Like this, yes. If the ratio is very shallow, it is not that. It goes to 786. If it is deeper, it goes to 618. Or, for example, if this one is very small, then it can go to 618, something like this. Or if it is very deep, then we should have a deeper here to hit the 618. So there are very many combinations depending on the ratio here and on the size of these legs, and I calculated them all and coded them the way to point either to 786 or to 618. So these are the Pesavento patterns. You don't have them explained on my website. They are pretty new. I will add the explanation maybe in future, but basically they are something that is looking this way. So let me disable all the patterns and let's go into history to find some Pesavento patterns. So this one is a good variation of the Pesavento, and if you look at this, you just measure it here. You have a Pesavento terminating at 786, and at the same time you have this ABCD completion that completes slightly less than 786. So we have it slightly less. It is within the range, plus minus 3%. Okay, if we go somewhere deeper, we may find some more Pesaventos. So it was not good. Okay, this one was a good Pesavento that is black, and this one was the second Pesavento, but it was invalidated, so we don't have it anymore. The blue one is Pesavento 618. Okay, let us examine some stuff. This one is 618 Pesavento, you can see it. This one is 786 Pesavento. Sometimes it coincides with other godlies, so you see that 618 working pretty good. And sometimes they coincide with other standard godly. I say standard in quotes because there are not standard. There are so many patterns as there are traders, basically. But some of traders have performed a market research, and some of these traders have done a back test and found the variations that has a positive expectancy. And other traders simply copy the work of those traders, and that's why they say, oh, the rules say this, the rules say that, and so on. Okay. For advanced formation, what do we have? We have an entry, stop loss. I will go to explain it in a second. Let's go here. Let's go to this advanced formation. So what you can set with your godly advanced formation. First, you should switch to advanced or harmonic. If you switch to harmonic, you will have the harmonic, but of course you can switch that back to advanced if you want to display it this way. But I prefer to have advanced pattern approach. Okay, so with this, you can set the color. Every time you have orange red, you understand that you have a godly and nothing else. Red is a godly, yellow is a bad. Okay, next, what you also can set. You can go and set the godly background. Back is background. So if you enable it true, you will have it this way. So you see this field with color. What else you can do? And additional setting is the setting of the stop loss. Okay, by default I am giving you my own backtesting number. So this number is the Fibonacci. The Fibonacci should be stretched from X to A, and it is 0.105. So if you stretch your Fibonacci from X to A, yes, and you go to enable 105 level, 105. Okay, so your stop loss will be something that coincides with this 105 level. You see that? It is 5% of your XA. If price exceeds your X point by 5%, then it is invalidated. So you no longer want to stay in this trade. But you can set your stop loss according to whatever. First, if you want to use that popular stop loss of 113, you are welcome. Choose Fibonacci here. You can set that pips, Fibonacci ATR. Choose Fibonacci 113, and you will have that 113 stop loss measurement. So if you stretch that X to A, you see it coincides with 113. Okay, then if you want to go to choose some pipsage, yes, for example, you don't want those fibs, you only want 10 pips above or below X point. As we have for our 10 pips is a bit small number, I think we should have 20 pips. So you should type 20 and 10 because 5-digit broker pips, and your stop loss will be 20 pips below X. So let's calculate. At least we will try to calculate it from X point, and to here we have what I can measure is 17 point something, but I'm not that precise as the software, so I bet the software calculates much better than I. So I need to zoom it in to better 20.2. So if I zoom it in, I can calculate a bit more precise. So what I can calculate is 20.2, and the software says 20. Okay, software is a bit more precise than I. MPS 5 does this better. Okay, what else can we do? We can switch it to this, and we can go to set it 1 ATR. So if you switch to 1 ATR and you set the period of ATR, and you can use period of ATR 7, you can use period ATR 14. I'd prefer to use ATR period 30. So the period 30 will be from here. The ATR is calculated what ATR you have at the C point. So the period 30 is the ATR from the C point. So we have something of 32 pips below the X point. Why it is always below the X point? Because the X point is the invalidation level of the Gartley. So you're just giving it additional buffer. By default I give you 5%, you can give it 10% or whatever, you can give it 10 pips, 20 pips, or you can give it 1 ATR below that. Okay, hope you understood these Gartley settings. The rules for the Gartley advanced formations are displayed on my website, and my website is www.ps-software.net. Here it is. If you go to this learn the patterns, you will have that tutorial for the patterns. So the software draws the patterns according to that tutorial. Okay, godless. The next pattern is bad. So what you can do is simply similar to that. So it draws patterns according to this. But instead of red color, you can use yellow, and the same the background, the Fibonacci, set that pips or fibs, whatever, yes, ATR 105 or whatever. So we have this. Pay close attention when the two colors overlap. They give unexpected mixture in MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 platforms. So you see yellow plus orange red equals this purple. I don't think it should be purple, but it is this. So what you may see is this. For example, if you go to enable that background on and also orange red, and this one is orange red as well, yes, so what you have in this overlapping place is this missing color. You see this? It is the same, you should keep in mind. For example, you have that rectangle, and when you overlap, you see it disappears. Not disappears, but the overlapping thing becomes white. That's why it may lead to some I don't know things. It is MetaTrader 4 feature you should keep in mind. Okay, so what else can we see is the Cypher pattern. Yes, so the same thing in the Cypher pattern. The invalidation of the Cypher pattern is the X point as well. Where is that Cypher? Here it is, X point as well. You can display it or not display. If it is true, then it is the same as it is pressed button. This is the background for the Cypher. Let's turn it to true. The Cypher Fibonacci. This time for the Cypher, the 105 is not the XA, it is X to C. So 105 is X to C. So if you enable a Fibonacci based stop loss 113, it will be calculated from X to C. So let's calculate, enable that 113 for example, and let's find the Cypher. And of course we can go into history and find it. Here's the Cypher, a bit small one, but still it is the one that we have, and we enable the 113 Fibonacci extension. I suppose it was 113, yes. So if you stretch it from X to C, it is 113. It is not X to A. You see that? It is not X to A, it is X to C. Okay, then let's go to the next pattern. The patterns are similar, pattern settings are similar to each other. Pesavento and Pesavento 2 are displayed, yes. So let's go to the custom pattern. Okay, so what do we have in the custom pattern? You just go here. In the custom pattern, again, you can display or not display, you can change your color, and you can change your background. And here are your settings for the custom pattern. Your minimal B point, maximal B point. So this is the range of your pattern, yes. The extension, if you want the C point extend past X point, you see, if you will enable this to true, and your maximal C point should be 1.272 and maximal C point 1.618, so it will be something similar to a Cypher pattern if it is an extension, yes. And the completion will be from X to C, not from X to A, but X to C, because it is that, and the stop loss will also be calculated correspondingly. So now let's go and see what we have. So this is the pattern that we just coded. It looks different. This is custom pattern. You see it? So if we go to here and code it back, reset that, we will have my unified godly coded settings, and you can find it here in majority of places where you have a godly and you have a bad. Okay, so that's it about the advanced patterns group. I remind you that the advanced formations are only these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these 3 that are added are mine. I simply added them into this one group. Now let's switch to harmonic group. So I'll simply go here, switch it to harmonic group. So these are the patterns that were created by Scott Carney, and basically you should go to my website to learn more about these patterns, how they are drawn. So briefly explaining you what they are. A harmonic group is this. You first find this movement. I don't know what is that, but you find it from here to here, yes? Then you go and you wait for this ABCD pattern to appear. Okay, let me do it this way. ABCD pattern to appear. You wait for ABCD pattern. You see that? And suppose this is the completion of that ABCD, yes, somewhere here. And what you need to do, you need to draw the extension from B to C and to see if the completion is complemented with this 6-1-8 or some other ratios that are predefined with harmonic trading. So if they are coinciding somewhere within the tight range, then you have a potentially good reversal zone. So once you have that coincidence, yes, then you do it this way. You measure this X to A once again. Oh, come on. X to A once again, and see, sorry, it is inversed, and see if it coincides with some major level, and it also coincides with 886. So this way you have the 3 levels. One of them is retracement of X to C, another one is ABCD pattern, sometimes alternative ABCD pattern. It means not the exact AB equals CD, but 127 AB equals CD or 1618 AB equals CD. In different patterns will have different ABCDs. And the B2C inversion. So when these 3 coincide, this is the B2C inversion. So I simply invert the fibs. Like this, to have B2C inversion. And I have a confluence of lines. And within this area, yes, what I'm looking at is the reversal zone, reversal candles to appear, to execute long. I'm not executing with limit orders. They are not advanced patterns. Advanced patterns are good to be executed with limit orders because they were created for that purpose, to be traded with limit orders. But harmonic patterns are not. You wait for a pattern to complete, you wait for all the levels to be tested. This is called a terminal price bar that crosses all the levels, and only then you switch to a lower time frame, which is called proximate time frame. The pattern that is drawn is called the primary time frame, but the time frame you are going to execute is called the proximate time frame. And then you look for your entries on these time frames, and that's why it is very very important to have that feature of switching that. For example, you have this crab pattern, yes, it completed here at this level. Let me isolate that crab. Okay, we have some smaller one, but it was invalidated at this level, but the large one is still okay. So we had it here, and you see how price reacted based on that information. So you will have these 3 lines on the patterns. So this is the deep crab pattern also, if drawn from separate leg. You will have 3 lines also. They constitute the potential reversal zone. Okay, you see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They are ABCD. The ABCD pattern is represented by this line. It is an ABCD. This one is called the B2C inversion, and that one that coincides with triangle and has the same color is the XA. So when you have that butterfly pattern, you have this, basically this zone, and if price bounces from that zone like this, then it's okay. If it not bounce, yes, if it breaks that through, you see all these candles broke through the zone, you just stay away, you don't trade it. So the same stuff here. It is simply the harmonic trading. You should learn the harmonic trading first if you want to trade that. Of course, you should learn all this pattern trading first if you want to understand them better. Okay, so what do we have in these patterns? Oh, my mouse is not working anymore. Okay, so what do we have in these patterns? Let us see. Maybe I have some driver problems. Okay, let's go here and let's see these indicator settings, and we have it this way. First of all, if we go to this, I will explain it brief. The butterfly. The butterfly, you can set the display to be true or false, as usual with other patterns. You can set it, the color, you can set the color background. It is the same, and you choose the type of your stop loss. It can be Fibonacci based, pips based, or ATR based. So when you use a Fibonacci based stop loss, it is the Fibonacci stretched from X to A, and by default it says 1.465, which is 5% beyond the invalidation level, and the invalidation level of a butterfly pattern is 1414. You see, if you add 5%, it is 1464. 1414 plus 5%, so it is 5% beyond the invalidation level. If you want to use 10% beyond the invalidation level, then 1414 should turn into 1514. Yes. Okay, if you want to use pipsage beyond the invalidation level, then you should type the number of pips you wish, 20 pips, and it will be 20 pips beyond 1414 level, because 1414 is the invalidation level. 1414 XA is the invalidation level for a butterfly, and if you choose the ATR, yes, period 30, yes, then it will be 1 ATR period 30 beyond 1414 level. Okay, let's go to let's reset that let's go to crab. Similar settings here. You display or not display, you set the color of that, the background of course, and let me explain the settings. By default you have crab stop Fibonacci, CRS fibs this is the code, crab stop Fibonacci, and again the invalidation of a crab is Fibonacci 2 XA extension, so it's 2 XA. So by default it is 5% beyond 2 is 5.02, yes. If you wish 10%, of course you can change it by 510, or sorry, by 2.10, something like this. It will be 10% beyond the invalidation level. You should keep in mind the invalidation level of a crab. You should understand that if it goes beyond that level, the pattern is invalidated. It is not something that is your stop loss. It is simply invalidation. Sometimes price goes through the invalidation level and then immediately reverses, and you never have any kind of follow through, and it was because it was a false breakout or false spiking or whatever. Okay, if you switch to pips, yes, it means that it will be a pipsage number beyond the invalidation level, and of course you should change the pipsage to, let's say, 30 pips or whatever, what you wish. So 30 pips beyond the invalidation level. The invalidation level is 2. Okay, and if you switch ATR, so it will be ATR beyond the invalidation level, 1 ATR. And if you set that ATR to period 30, that will be okay. So ATR period 30. Now let's go to deep crab. The deep crab is similar to crab because it has the same invalidation level. The invalidation to XA is the invalidation of a deep crab, and the same Fibonacci, pips, and ATR. Okay, if we go to alternative bat, the alternative bat is the bat that completes at 113 XA extension. The standard bat completes at 886, but the alternative bat is one that completes at 113. The invalidation for alternative bat is 127 extension. So by default you have a stop loss level, invalidation level placed as a 127 plus 5%. So if you calculate that, 127.2 plus 5%, it is 132.2. So you can also use some Fibonacci level, for example, say I don't want that 5%, I want 10%. So it will be 127, 137.2. Yes, it will be 10% beyond the invalidation level of 127. Okay, as for other stop loss variations, so you can also use pips, and if you decide to use 10 pips beyond the 127, it will be 10 pips beyond the 127 level. Okay, if you decide to choose the ATR, you do it the same. ATR period 30, ATR period 14, or whatever period you wish beyond the 127. Okay, if we go to sharks, I split the shark into two variations, the shark and alternative shark. The first shark is the one that completes at 886 retracement level. It is the first level for shark completion, and of course the invalidation for that shark is X point. The same with the bat pattern. Yes, you can set the pips, Fibonacci, or ATRs. So if the reversal starts from 886, it makes sense to place your stop loss beyond the X point. Okay, but if there are no reversal at 886 and price goes further to 113 completion level, then we have an alternative shark, and it is similar to alternative bat. So the by default the invalidation level of the alternative shark and alternative bat is 127, and I added 5% buffer, so it can be displayed as the stop loss mark or whatever here. And you can set the color and change the background. You can play with these settings. Okay, the next pattern is the Cypher pattern. Okay, it is very similar. The completion of that pattern is 786, yes, and the invalidation of that pattern is X, or 100%. So if you use 105%, you will use 5% beyond X. Same stuff here, you can change it pip, fibs, and ATRs. It will be the number of pips, number of ATR, of period, whatever you type the ATR beyond X. Okay, next patterns are Pesavento patterns. One of them is the one that completes at 786, another is the one that completes at 61A. Yes, both of them have X point as the invalidation level, and that's why I added here 5% to have that buffer. But you can change it to pips, you can change it to ATR, for example this pips, 20 pips beyond the level, and the second one, let it run the ATR period 14 beyond the X point. Okay, now we came back to our custom pattern. I already had some brief discussion about this settings. So here's the only variation that you can do is to use Fibonacci based stop loss, and it will also be the one that you use. The Fibonacci stop loss based, if this extension is false, then it will be the extension of XA, Fibonacci extension of X to A, and if the extension is true, then it will be the extension of X to C, the same as we have with ciphers or sharks. Okay, let me reset these settings, and well, that's it about the patterns. Now let me show you what patterns are available in automatic and manual versions. In automatic and manual versions you have these four, 1, 2, 3, 4 available, and if you try to click to Pesavento, Pesavento 2, custom, deep crab or whatever, yes, like this, you will be notified to upgrade for Pro. So if you have this to this to this, you will be notified to upgrade for Pro. Okay, in Harmonic section you have 1, 2, 3, 4 available for you, but alternative bat, shark, and alternative shark and deep crab are only available for Pro. So limited versions of automatic and manual, they don't have these patterns, so you will be notified about this. Okay, that's why they are limited. And I remind you, if you have a limited version and you want to upgrade that for Pro, no need to pay full price for Pro. You simply pay the difference and you are upgraded, because you already have half, at least half, yes. All other functions work and all other functions coincide. Okay, so that's it. This is the video about the patterns. We have two main groups, and this makes the MPS 5.2 unique. I never seen any other that runs the group of patterns, the not only the list of patterns but the group of patterns. So I've seen software that is running advanced patterns only, I have seen software that is running harmonic pattern only, but I never seen the software that runs both, that can run this and run that. And this is a unique function of the MPS 5.2 only. Okay, the next video will explain you the additional functions we have in MPS 5.2 and also the filters that we have in MPS 5.2. I hope to see you there.